Still getting used to that flashy new intro. It's kind of cool, isn't it?
I like it though. I like it.
Getting the horn straight away from the Duke 0999. Hopefully you guys are seeing us live through LinkedIn and YouTube this week. We had a bit of a kerfuffle last week. But yeah, hopefully you are seeing us live through LinkedIn. Hey, Big Al's in the show straight away. Happy Tuesday, Big Al. Thanks for tuning in, my man. If you're new to the show, let us know where in the world you're tuning in from, if this is your first time viewing. And Andrew literally made the show in the green room like sprint last minute this time. It was literally godlike timing, mate. Loving to see it.
I got in, said hi, and then boom, the intro. So yeah. I'm gonna set up LinkedIn on this side as well. I always like to have like LinkedIn here and YouTube on this side of me, so we can kind of see what's going on.
Are you seeing us through LinkedIn then? Is it coming through on LinkedIn? Hey, yeah, we've seen Martin come through LinkedIn, so it must be.
Yeah, there we go. I'm seeing it.
Hey, there we go. Haven't sent a lot of invites this week because what's happening is because of the change of the date of the week, we're going to send invites to the next week on tomorrow when we make the new event page. So those of you that are watching live, look out for an event invite tomorrow for next week's show. Gives you 6 days to sort of find the page and all of that.
Nice. You got a new microphone?
No, it's the same old microphone, but it might sound a bit different because I think I had played with some settings last week. Am I sounding better this week?
Yeah, it's sounding much better. Yeah.
Oh, great. Hopefully that fixed the issue. I think it was the browser that I was tuning in from last week was making it mono, apparently, which is annoying, but...
I see. You know what? I'm talking about that. I need to flip. Hopefully I'm on my microphone now. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, well, that made a big difference.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Cool. Look at us. All professional and stuff.
I know, mate. It's good, isn't it? We're getting there. I've even got a little ring light now. I closed my blind. Like Paul's told me a little few notes.
Nice.
You know, about ways to clean up the show and stuff like that. I could actually change this to a nicer mood lighting, like make it a yellowy.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Yeah, so that's what. I can't wait to move because I'm moving, and then I'll be able to have my. I'm gonna try and set up how I want to go on. So I'm like, this is my opportunity to move in. Let's get it right from the beginning. So that's kind of the plan. But you know, plans don't always go accordingly. So hopefully it will.
I was also told, because we're now doing the YouTube shorts and nice clips and roundups of the show, that I want to be more centered in frame because I always sit off to the left or sit off to the right. And so my goal is to try and stay now in the center of the frame to make a good cut for the show.
Brilliant. Miriam, don't worry. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Hey. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Nice.
Netherlands tuning in. Hey, Ben. How's it going?
Hey, Ben.
Whereabouts in the Netherlands are you? Colchester in the house. Let's go. Chennai, India. Awesome. Sorry if it says LinkedIn user, by the way. Sometimes we get this. Apparently, it's a restriction of the API from StreamYard to LinkedIn on certain users and certain profiles. And yeah, we discovered it a few weeks ago, but it's a profile setting you can actually change.
Yeah. I can see who it was. So that was Anbu.
Oh, great.
In India. So hello.
And this is Eric David, Dad Guy D. I love that it's I know it's you, Eric. I love that it's your YouTube handle. Hey, we got Miriam. Let's go.
You guys met the other day?
Yes, mate. Bionic.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be doing, that's a lovely little segue there. Thank you so much for setting me up there, Miriam. We're going to be doing a section of the show today, which is a bit of a roundup of the Bionic Awards. Yes, the thing is we've already watched so much of them, mate. Yeah. Ikenna won 2 prizes, and we'd seen both of his pieces. Nice. But for those that are uninitiated and are new to the show, maybe we'll still watch some of them. We've got like a little roundup that we're doing, and it was awesome. Honestly, it was. Hey, meeting Zed as well in person after years and years of chatting online. Harry too, Harry Najar. Used to work at Lad Bible, like really cool guy. I've been chatting for 4 years, and yeah, we just never got a chance to actually meet in person. And
but that's the way it
did.
Can you believe it? I've only met Chris once as well. We've only ever met each other once in person.
Isn't that mental?
Exactly. We've known each other pretty much since COVID, and we've only met once. So yeah, that's the world. That's the world we live in. You know, I think we chat pretty much every day. We pretty much chat every day, but we've only ever met each other once.
I also met Martin at Bionic, and so many guys came. I was actually like, do you know what? For the first half of the show, mate, there wasn't a single British person even. It was all Europeans that had flown themselves over and were part of the panels and the finalists. And I was just like, I was like, hell yeah, you know. Every time I'm over in the States, we always see like a disproportionately USA crowd, you know. And now I'm in Europe going, finally, you know, these events are showcasing what us Europeans and Brits are doing on the AI stage. And it's even they had a category for best UK creator, which Ikenna won as well.
I was going to say who won that. Yeah, nice.
That was his second award. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was awesome. And yes, there were still people, you know, I think Zach London, even though he's called Zach London, is actually in California and he couldn't make it, but he won for best sound design. And he actually got phoned in. So like
they did it,
yeah, they phoned him on the stage and then had a little interview with him and broadcast it to the theater of people sitting there. It was awesome.
Nice, good.
There was a nominee that flew in from Peru.
Oh wow,
that was Trash Can Roxanne, I believe.
Did they win?
No, unfortunately didn't, but made it anyway. You know,
that's commitment. Yeah.
It was such a great night, and I had such good chats with so many people, you know, new and old, basically. People I was very familiar with, and we'd had loads of online chats with, and then people that I'm like, how come I haven't bumped into you yet? You're doing amazing stuff in the AI scene in London, and I just wasn't aware of it, or, you know, it's very, very revealing, it was.
Yeah. Are they going to do it again next year? Was it
and Diane was there, aka Afro Butcher. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have her on the show. It was absolute Panama. Yeah, that's right. It was Panama. She flew in from maybe or Peru. Yeah, but yeah, it was incredible. And yes, we're going to talk to the Alex and Andy, who thank you so much for organizing it, you know, about the frequency of it. Is it going to be a summer one? Is it going to be a next time this year type of thing? We're not sure really, or they're not sure, you know, about how frequently they can put it on. But as a first go, it was just so many awesome Europeans there, flown in from all over the place, on their own back. And yeah, the networking was great, and the chats before, and the showcase was really, really cool as well. It was awesome, and we were sorry to have missed you there, mate. Honestly, everyone was asking about you, and like, you know, even so many people were like, "Love the new show," have been tuning into the show for a long time.
Amazing.
And I even got a few comments of, "I've only ever seen you in 2D," and like, it's weird. It's weird, like seeing you in the flesh, like this side of your face, that side of your face, and stuff like that. And it's really, really like some really funny stuff.
Oh, that's funny. Hopefully next time, you know, the next time there's an award show, I'll make sure, as long as I know enough time in advance, I'll make sure they Dylan will be looked after, and I'll be over.
They did indeed do us proud, and it was great to be involved. It was great to do I hosted the advertising section, which was basically my part of the show. So it was really good to do that, and had Ikenna on, and bless him, he looks so tired, because he and I know, you know, working with international clients in weird time zones and stuff, it was just so, I was like, mate, I bet you're working really late at night right now, aren't you? I could tell he was like falling asleep in his chair, and he did not expect to get 2 awards, but boy, does he bloody deserve them. And I've been saying
what did he win for?
Best UK creator, and I forget the other one actually. We've got it written down, but it was either best short film or best, it was best ad. It was best ad for his 13 ways to do something. We've got that later on in the show. Anyway, cool. I'm waffling a lot. We've got a lot to get through this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can see many of you have found us, even though we haven't sent invites out this week. So appreciate that dedication, guys. Yes, we did change the day, Winston. It's better for Paul, who's now producing the show, and Andrew, whose schedule doesn't work on a Wednesday and Thursday. And sadly, we had to bring it forward a little hour, so some people in San Francisco may find it more difficult to tune in and stuff. But it just works for the rest of us so perfectly. So we're going to keep it to this date and time, Tuesday 3 till 5 UK time. We're on, but wherever you are, yes, it was Best Ad. Miriam is confirming. He was up for so many categories. I voted him in Best Sound Design because there were so many categories, you know, like and Best UK Creator. I voted for him, and also there was an Influencer category, which I think he could have nominated himself for as well. But Rourke won the Influencer category. So, no wonder.
Was Rourke there?
Yes, Rourke was there. He came late because he had some stuff to do during the day, but he came just in time to pick up his prize. And then he went on to his honeymoon straight afterwards.
Oh, did he? Oh,
to the Maldives, literally.
Yeah.
Late honeymoon, which was pretty insane to see. That's it. Everyone loves his 13 Ways to Annoy People ad. It's great. Yes. We had a great time watching it, and we're going to watch it again today, I think. It's actually one of the pieces we've got. So, without further ado, though, let's get into some of the news, because it has been a hell of a week, and there's a lot of updates that I'm noticing are going kind of under the radar, actually, just because so much is happening all at once. So one of the things, if you're a Google Flow user, which is basically the interface where you use Veo 3 directly through Google, there's been quite a lot of updates to Google Flow, it turns out. And they're going under the radar, as I said, because many people are using Flow through Veo 3 through other places like Freepik and Weavy and stuff. But this is, like I'm saying, directly in the Google interface, the Flow thing. We're just going to watch it on mute here, basically, to the side of us and discuss it. So I really like some of the new demos they do. You know, these things that we talked about last week, mate, where they're making actual usable stuff with their tools like this, which is a great showcase, isn't it? It feels, if they don't commission this to someone, at least the in-house people should be doing this.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Gemini. Yeah, that's their stable.
Exactly, they've got the whole, you know,
everything that you're working on
thing wrapped up at the moment, don't they? It's kind of crazy.
Start a new project, or click on an existing one, where you'll see all of your assets appear in a grid. This grid was designed to help simplify the way you manage your assets. As your project
so this grid's looking familiar.
Custom collections, search, and filter. This makes it easier to organize images and videos as you build out your story. Now,
storyboarding.
Just type a prompt in and Flow will generate an image. To help you stay organized, you can also name your image generations, just like you would with your working files. If you'd like to refine your image, you can simply prompt for a new version, or use one of the editing options like the lasso tool for more precision. Just outline the area you want to change, add a prompt, and Flow updates that specific spot while keeping the rest of your image the same. In the prompt bar, you'll also find a model selector. This is where you can switch between generating images and videos and adjust various settings like orientation, output quantity, or model. Let's choose video. Ready to bring your ideas to life? You can use images you've created or upload your own as ingredients for your video. Just drag them into the prompt bar.
This was Whisk that we didn't get access to.
Or mix and match.
It's been integrated now into this.
Together and hit generate.
Someone said, can you turn it up?
Now let's explore frames to video.
Using
frames to video, you'll see these little chips that give you the option to use the first frame, a last frame, or both. You can generate a frame with Nano Banana Pro directly in Flow, upload new frames from your device, or simply drop frames in from your grid. You'll also notice a few buttons pop up below the prompt bar. These features help you refine your clips after you generate them to get them just right. For example, with the Insert feature, you're able to add elements to your clip without generating an entirely new one. You can also shift the perspective of your clip by using camera control without needing to describe it in your prompt.
That's useful.
And if you like where your clip was going and you'd like to continue the story, you can extend the length of your clip. That's a quick look at how to get started with Flow. We can't wait to see what you create.
So some serious updates there. They've obviously added Whisk, which was a feature that we never got rolled out to the UK fully. It was only in USA sort of rollout. I did give it a go through a VPN, so I have a rough idea what it was. But it's kind of like, they call it funnily the murder board or the mood board, you know, where it's just like a bunch of images that look like kind of chaotic. But obviously it's the way in which you can easily just create folders and stuff like this and be able to use them as reference points. And Winston's saying there that he did actually like using this, but also because it's got both the nano bananas in there and they're Google native, but he's creating new folders. It's a little bit buggy. It's a new rollout, you know, so expect it to have a little bit of issues, but kind of interesting, right, that they're building this out way further. It's a way more advanced thing than it was before, and it will become more and more useful to people's entire pipelines. Potentially they won't need other tools, as Google just has the best of everything. It's kind of nuts. Like, the Gemini LLM is one of the best, if not the best LLM. Then Nano Banana is by far the best image editing tool. And then VO3 is not currently the best because we've got SeaDance and Kling 3. But as soon as it hits a VO4, we may see a new winner, you know, so it's going to be a lot. We didn't miss much, apparently, with Whisk. It wasn't all that much, but baked into the sort of video making process, it makes a lot more sense, I think, Winston. So, yeah. It is the most expensive, Ian, but they actually do things. This is where it gets interesting, right? Because aggregators always charge you credits because it's an API call to VO3, whereas if you actually go on the top package through Google on the $200 a month one, they often give you unlimited usage of the, you know, a model that's not quite the latest one. So when VO4 comes out, essentially through your $200 a month package, you could possibly get unlimited VO 3.1 usage at 720 or 1080p, you know, to be confirmed. But that would be the pattern.
Fair use, though. That's the thing, and fair use. That's what they did with mobile phones. It's like you could this much data or this many phone calls, but fair use, which basically puts a cap on it. So it says unlimited, but there is a cap on it.
That's very true. And it looks like actually Ian might actually offer something like this. Supported through credits, is also offered through BYOK. So yeah, you exactly know, don't you, Ian? I think it's interesting now because we're at a stage where, are these foundational models going to provide the interface in which we use as well as the models themselves, or will they be more APIs inside somebody else's interface that we use for this workflow? That's the question. And many people are betting on the alter, you know, that Google want to stay in the research and less the product phase and more the, you know, just giving out the product to other people to create the workstation or whatever it is.
Let Adobe deal with it. Yeah, Adobe and Freepik and all of the others. Yeah,
exactly. Higgsfield, Weavy, all of them. Flora, there's tons of them, you know. And it's going to be a bit of a race there in the aggregators. And if they don't create new and unique things, they'll always be reliant on API calls from other places. And it's just interesting to see. That's a nice segue, though, because one of those other things, one of those other big tools on the market out there is Luma. We don't talk about Luma enough because they don't hit the headlines as much, it seems. But they have raised 900 million. And so, you know, they're massive. And I actually bumped into Verena, who came on this podcast, Verena Pume, remember? And she's leading up the studio AI at Luma. And so she gave me, through CPP, early access to this agent that they'd created, which is, in many ways, what people are seeing as going to be better than nodes. So right now, the big thing is nodes, which is Weavy, Freepik Spaces, and all the other places have this sort of node creation software tool. But what this agent is essentially an LLM that creates nodes on your behalf. So instead of you having to individually go in and drag in, you know, a video component and an image component and know which component should be used for what, instead you describe to the Luma agent exactly what you want to do. Like, here's my reference image. I would like you to create a product photo shoot with multiple people on this image and service me back when you've made multiple shots from multiple angles and multiple videos and things like this. And it will just go away and start doing it. It's quite incredible.
That's a massive game changer, that.
It is, because nodes of nodes are what Tim also calls the murder board, in that they get less and less art direction and more just looking at massive, what looks like engineering at the end of the day. And so it puts off a lot of people from actually doing it. Now, saying all of this, like, it is still really important that you have a fundamental knowledge of nodes so that when your agent breaks, you know where it's broken.
Yeah, exactly.
In the same way that if you don't know how to read any code and you start vibe coding, you've got no idea, so I still think it's very important to get a grasp of how nodes work fundamentally, even though you may not be the ones creating these really advanced workflows and may lean on an agent to do so on your behalf, essentially.
Yeah. I think that's really important, not just even in the video space, in anything. If you really break down the way AI is going, you've kind of got the main 3 areas, or 4. You've got the large language models, then you've got like the specific tools like a VO3 or 11 Labs, like specifically for certain things. Then you've got workflows, and then you've got the agents. And just jumping straight to agents, yeah, you can do that, but it's going to be helpful if you kind of understand the other 2, especially the first one, or at least the large language models, because as I said, you kind of want to have an idea of what the agents are actually doing. So
if it's black magic to you and you've got no way of sort of like reverse engineering it and seeing where it's going wrong, then you're going to struggle. So even a fundamental knowledge of how this works, it will really, really help. But it looks like a lot of people already in the chat have jumped on this. Winston, not surprised, mate. You're all over everything. Agents is amazing, really, really good. Apparently, Luma's opened up an office in London, which is very cool to hear and see. Hopefully more events coming from them in the London area then. Ian's saying agents controlling nodes is the way to go. MCP for the node engine is the pattern. Yep, I'm using the new Luma agent right now. Love it. It's not quite as specific as node-based workflow, but it makes up for it in other areas. Danny, if it works for you, mate, and it's able to produce the type of output that you expect based on you being one of the best things we've ever watched on this show, then it will work for a lot of other people, so take that with a massive, if you haven't already had the inkling to go and try it. I believe it's just been publicly rolled out 2 days ago. So we've had access to this as part of the CPP for like 3 weeks, and I couldn't talk about it. And I only really had a go at it like a week before the public launch because I've just been so busy with other things, honestly and truthfully. But it is kind of bizarrely good. You can just leave it. You give it the type of thing you'd give an LLM agent, but is talking to image and video tools. So you leave it for like hours sometimes. If you want it to produce a really large amount of stuff for you to look through, then it does take a little while, and you may be able to build it faster yourself manually. But the idea is that you just drop an idea that you would have spent the next hour doing, that the machine can literally do the same things you were about to do, like prompt nano banana with a wide angle shot of this image. Like, why are you sitting there typing to it when the agent could be doing that on your behalf? Essentially that's what it's doing. So
I wonder,
very smart.
How much does this cost though? Because if you're given, do you set a limit? Do you say, all right, you can't go past this many credits? And
honestly, because we're part of the CPP, I haven't hit the limit yet, and so I don't know if anybody that's paying for it in the chat knows actually, what the token's like for the agent or anything like this. Please do give us some cost, because the breakdown is going to be really interesting. And mate, you always do this every time. It's like, well, but what does it cost? Because ultimately, it can be the best thing ever. If it costs the Earth or the Moon, no one's going to use it.
No one's going to use it. Yeah, and that's something I've always got my hat on, which is like, okay, this sounds great, but how much? How much?
Right.
Because I also look at it from outside of video producers. Like, let's say, for example, you're a marketer and you've said, right, we can't go and get someone who's an AI video producer, but I can work this out myself. They're not going to have necessarily the background. They're not going to have the experience. They're not even going to create something as good, but they might be able to create something which is decent. And then it goes down to, well, how much would it cost for them? Because they're unlikely to be put on these programs. So I'm always trying to work out that flip side as well.
Mate, it's always a good angle to think about as well, because if you're and we get blinded to it, which is why it's so important you keep bringing it up, because luckily we are part of these creative partner programs which give us, you know, access to this, and we don't actually have to worry too much about the cost initially, unless we really love the tool and then we go over the threshold of our CPP credits and then have to start buying it, you know, which is going to be the case in many cases. Hey Lara, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in.
Hey Lara.
Oh, they gave us 20k credits and I haven't even used 100 credits, and I made 5 campaigns on it, so they aren't treating us like regular people, lol. Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's the kind of experience that we have too, is, you know, just get dumped a load of credits, don't worry about credits too much, and therefore you're not thinking about it like an average user and how much the ROI and all of this, you know, so a bit of a skewed opinion. But yeah, how efficient is it going to be? I hear someone saying earlier, by the way, Korea also launched something like this. And yeah, it's kind of nice to have a framework kickstart, like a workflow prompt and stuff. Like they're doing live image generation and live image editing in Korea now, and different workflows like that, as well as experimenting with agents. And yeah, I can see it being what's happening. And me and Paul talked about this a little bit. Paul predicted this in 2023, or maybe even earlier, when as soon as we got involved in AI, we start talking big picture. And one of the big picture things Paul said is, eventually AI will get so good at this execution stuff that ideation will just become more and more valuable over time. You know, and it will just be all about the value of the idea. And when you start seeing agents build campaigns, like Winston's saying, you know, all based on your idea, you're just letting an agent go and do the thing. You give it the idea and you say, come back to me when you've do something interesting. And then you might just go straight show it to a client if it's good enough. So we're at a weird time where nodes built, like Rory Flynn is the best probably ever at building node workflows. I tuned into their Weavy thing the other day, mate, and it looked like, do you know what it reminded me of? A little bit of a segue, but me and Sander talk about Formula One, because he used to have a massive Formula One page. This is Evolving AI Sander. And he used, and it reminds me of like seeing like a Formula One type engine, like looking at Rory's Weavy flows, because it's so complex and so beyond what anyone else would be tuning an engine to be, that you're like, how does this guy's brain work? Like, you know, like it's almost like Weavy was made for his brain. You know, like nodes are exactly what, like, because Midjourney he was brilliant at, but this is so beyond Midjourney. You know, like what he's doing, he's reverse engineering his exact workflows into exact nodes that he can scale and repeat. And so yeah, like I said, it's for certain people's brains. And anyone that's in the chat that's been like hitting a barrier with nodes because it's not for your brain, then agents will get you over that hurdle, hopefully. Me included. You know, I am going to go and brush up on the fundamentals of nodes right after this live, probably, because I want to be able to know how these agents are going to really help me. You know, I want that core fundamental understanding. So my homework to myself in the next fortnight is get familiar with nodes, aka just go watch everything Rory's ever put out online, and then let your agents really help you, you know, like with that node workflow stuff.
Someone said, I think Rory said he cloned his whole skill set as skills into Claude.
It's kind of mental. The fact what he's doing these days is actually insane. His JSON prompts, everything about him. Like, we call him the Dave of Demos for a reason, guys. You know, I literally labeled him that. I'm like, this guy is incredible. There's nothing he can't do when it comes to demos of products, and he should get paid so much bloody more, you know, in terms of how much. But yes, let's go into the next segment, because Paul's telling me, you know, I need to get on with the show. I forgot. You just get chatting, don't you? We're half an hour into the show, and we've only got through 2 pieces of news so far, and we've got like 20 odd pieces to watch. So, did you see the news that Ben Affleck's company was bought by Netflix? This is, big news. The thing that was shocking to most people was that Ben Affleck's got an AI company.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ben Affleck was on Joe Rogan, like, talking about obviously the good and the bad of AI. And something he said that really disturbed me was he's saying that it's bad for the actors, it's bad for the producers, etc. And then he's kind of contradicted him. When I say bad, because people are losing jobs. And then he contradicted himself because he said, okay, then what is good about it is that we don't have to go to the North Pole to shoot something or then send it over to the Philippines and get somebody to do it. We can now do it here. And I'm thinking, but if you're complaining about losing jobs, what about all the jobs that's being lost if people don't travel, or you send it to the Philippines to do the cut, all those jobs. So really it kind of goes down to what benefits him. So that's the only thing where I was like, I didn't really I understood his first point, but I don't think he kind of read the room with that second point.
Yeah, it's you're right. I think it's a confused message, but what people didn't know, why he was so when Joe Rogan asked him about AI, why he was so up to date with it, is because he was having this company the whole time, running advanced comfy UI flows, it turns out.
Yeah.
And I saw a journalist arguing, I think Tim mentioned this in a group chat that we're in, a journalist was arguing that by his company using comfy UI, automatically that means they're using dirty models which are trained on licensed IP and stuff like this, and it's just simply not true. That argument is like saying if you drive a car, then you've robbed a bank. Yes, it could be used for that reason, but not everyone that drives a car robs a bank. Not everyone that uses comfy UI uses dirty models within it. You can use your own models that you've trained on your own license IP and insert them, because all it is a UI. It's a literal user interface, and you decide what's plugged into it. But that argument was made in the LimeWire Bearshare, because all that was a downloading tool, and you upload the music to it. Essentially it was just hosting music. It was being downloaded, and so we're in a weird argument. As you say, it's contradictory sometimes, because he's an actor talking about not displacing actors, but not thinking about set directors and film directors and all these other people whose jobs will get absorbed in this AI production process. So weird one. I don't know what to think about it. Like I said, the shocking thing to me was that Ben Affleck had something to sell to Netflix which was AI related. I wasn't that aware that he had a company doing that advanced stuff. I mustn't have listened to the Rogan interview properly, but I don't think he mentioned it there.
I don't think he mentioned it. No, I don't think he mentioned it, but it doesn't surprise me. I think because of what happened with Ashton Kutcher. Now, Ashton Kutcher, he made a lot of money in the early days of social media. And I think he was an early investor in Airbnb, where Ben Affleck, I think they looked at that and they thought, well, I want to be Ashton Kutcher. So his company, I think it's called Interpositive, and that was the name of the company. So I think Teresa mentioned it. Yeah. And I think he looked at that and was thought to himself, I need to be on the next wave. And I think he's had this company, or he bought into this company that was already established. And it might be because what you find as well with a lot of celebrities, they'll put their name to it because it gets the PR, but they have a very, very small percentage of it. It's their name thing. So we say it's Ben Affleck's company, but he just might be more the face of it, and he might have a very small percentage, but it'll be the VCs that will have a lot of control there.
You're probably so right there, mate. And actually, that seems to be a trend in marketing, doesn't it? Because remember when Prime, the drinks, was like, oh, that's Logan Paul and KSI, and it turned out they were just the face of it and had 10% stake in the brand or something, and this is going to happen more and more, where for PR purposes, a Ben Affleck sort will be the face of it, because otherwise, if a VC is sitting on the interview of NBC or whatever, then it looks like, there's dirty money, want more dirty money, oh great. Whereas if it's an actor, then they can, and they're a loved person, let's be honest, it's because he's a beloved actor too. if he was a controversial actor, you know, it would have gone down very differently, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, all of that stuff happened. So well, you know what? Good luck to him. Good luck to him. You know, good luck to him.
That's what I thought, and honestly, it's no surprise. Netflix and other broadcasters are definitely going to be getting involved more in AI. We've said from week to week it's because of the VFX, but honestly, it's so much more than that. You know, I when I looked into the details of what Ben Affleck's company's actually doing, it's all of the things that he knows as a director that needs to be done. So it's the same thing as when Runway appointed, you know, big Hollywood actors to the boards and stuff. It's because they know what needs doing. They you know, they're going, here's, remember I told you that story in WhatsApp the other day where who was it that the famous director Christopher Nolan. So Christopher Nolan wanted to have a plane crash with a Boeing 747, and he asked for the CGI costs, and they said, oh, it would be, you know, several dozen of million to do this and take several months to do it. So he goes, sod it, I'll just buy a real 747 and actually crash it, because this is going to be legit cheaper than doing the CGI VFX pipeline, which you've just quoted me on. So practical effects won over the CGI budget there. So think about what AI VFX is going to do to CGI VFX. It's going to be quite the clash, let's
impact.
say.
But it goes on what I was saying last week is Christopher Nolan, he likes to have his stuff on the IMAX, which means every single little pixel needs to be like sharp. I don't think with the AI, it's not there for that type. It's great on a laptop screen, and it's great on a mobile phone, but to make it on the big screens like that, I think you'll notice it quite badly at the moment.
I agree. Last thing I'll say, because I'm being told to move on, as I should be. You know, thank you, Paul, for telling me to move on. It was upscaled by Pinewood Studios, who run, you know, Disney and Star Wars and stuff like this in the UK. For Bionic Awards, they were upscaled for a cinema screen, and it did work. It actually worked. Some of them had some issues with cropping and stuff like this, but I think that was just, you know, a particular issue with one or two things. But it is surprising how you can upscale these to, like, we watched it in the Rich Mix Theatre, so a really decent theatre size screen. And it was all upscaled, and Anyway, moving on. I've been told now what we're going to do is we're going to watch the first 2 minutes of this BBC Runway thing. So I caught this in my feed this morning, basically. So it's brand new, but it's Runway have got live things that they're doing with the BBC now, and we're going to watch the first 2 minutes of it, and then we're going to come back on stage and talk about it whilst we watch the rest in mute.
I need my sage tea after that comment. Now, Mark, we know that you're the real deal. We have you here all the time when it comes to gardening. You know your stuff. But today, you're not the only gardening expert on the show today, because all this week across the BBC, we are delving into the world of artificial intelligence as part of AI Unpacked Week.
Yeah, earlier we met Ava. She's a computer-generated avatar that also happens to be a plant enthusiast.
What talent.
We've called her up again. Welcome back, Ava. Have you enjoyed the show so far?
It's been wonderful, thank you. But tell me, have you had any gardening questions yourself?
Oh.
Perhaps about starting seeds indoors this time of year?
We've had lots of questions from Morning Live viewers, actually, Ava. So this first question is from Tracy. She asks, how do I check what type of soil I have?
Ah, a great question from Tracy. The easiest way is to try the squeeze test. Take a handful of damp soil from your garden and squeeze it. If it falls apart quickly, it's likely sandy. If it holds a tight ball but crumbles when you prod it, you might have loam. And if it stays clumped tightly and feels sticky, that's probably clay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds right to me, but I'm not the expert. Mark, you like a squeeze test, don't you that?
I do like a squeeze test. That was absolutely perfect. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I mean, obviously you can just look at it as well. You can see sort of sandy soil, obviously by that texture. But also, the important thing is to not just know about what your soil looks like or feels like. It's also what the pH is of the soil. So you could buy yourself a soil tester. That's, you know, a couple of quid. easily done, just stick it in. The other thing you can do is get yourself a jar, fill it up with some water, then add in some of your soil, make a sort of a sludge, and then there are two approaches. You can either use vinegar or you can use bicarbonate of soda. If you add vinegar, it will start fizzing if you've got alkaline soil. You then get a clean jar, same process. If you then add bicarbonate of soda, if it fizzes, it shows you've got acidic soil. So those are just very simple ways that you can then know what type of soil you've actually got.
Okay.
But very good.
Yeah, you and Ava in agreement so far. Yeah. Ava, we have another question here from Gloria. She asks, which plants help keep flies out of my house?
That's a great question from Gloria. Herbs like mint, basil and lavender can be quite effective. Planting them near windows or doorways can help. Also, things like marigolds can be beneficial. Are you considering plants for indoors or outdoors?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, she's come back with the...
No, we don't have the answer, but yeah, it sounded good to me. Mark, would you agree with that?
Absolutely spot on. Again, sort of the mint family of plants, really strong aromas, will keep away sort of flies. So put them on your windowsill, put them outside your front door, absolutely perfect. But another...
So yeah, it's going to be happening more and more. It's just basically these avatars. We saw Synthesia and HeyGen and others, but this is Runway's version of it. There's a slight delay, and there's that sort of awkwardness with it. Like, great question, Cynthia, or whoever's asking that question, you know. So I get to it, but like the idea of, could you see this as a sports pundit? Could you see this as a live analytics thing? Like, I could just so see it during a Premier League game that, like, an avatar of a person is giving live something or other. It's going to be mental, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not convinced, but I don't know why. I don't know whether or not it's because we've been involved in AI deeply for at least 3-4 years. So when we watch something like this, we kind of just take it for what it is. It's just this AI avatar. Little things that I'll be thinking is that, they must have it on mute, or the presenters have been told not to say anything because the avatars usually interrupt when you're saying things, etc. But I think if you were just a regular person on BBC at that time, would they be impressed, or would they think this is weird? That's what I'm trying to gauge.
You've been there. You've literally been one of those people. So, like, you're right. It might be, and this is early adoption of this tech, that it might be a kind of awkward, weird experience, and that it just gets smoother and better over time. But these initial ones are kind of awkward. But as showcases of what's to come, it kind of shows where we're headed, doesn't it? You know, like these avatars will become interactive. And
Winston made a good point, and is like, I think you can see it more in museums and aquariums and even probably things at the theatre. To do on TV at the moment, I think we'll see it, but whether or not people will like it is a different thing. But I think I don't think TV will be the best place to get this technology mainstream. I can see it being on outdoor things like events, not events, like museums and things like that. I think that's where it'll work first until it becomes quite normal, and then we'll start seeing it more and more on TV, or people will accept it more and more on TV.
Is anyone hearing me through just one channel, by the way? Apparently someone's given us feedback, and last week for some reason I was coming through mono. I thought it was my browser that I was using, but unfortunately it sounds like this week I might be mono again. It's hard to tell if you're coming just through a speaker or whatever. If you're in headphones, though, let me know. Yeah, just one channel. It's really annoying. Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry about that. I'll have to try and sort that out for next week. I'm not sure what's going on exactly.
Yeah, it's a shame because it sounds good. Like, it sounds very clear. But, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Kind of annoying, but... yeah, as long as you guys are roughly still hearing me. If you're hearing through headphones, maybe turn me onto a speaker. Anyway, let's see what else is on the news this week. So, we had something that I actually curated, and I'm making a point of making this a segment of the show that we showcase. This is not AI, you know. A lot of what we talk about here is AI, and I want to showcase real advertisements, and we're going to have segments for real ads where they're separate to the AI ads so that it's not confused, you know. And by real ads, I don't mean like, oh, they're official or whatever, as in like there's no AI used here whatsoever. The reason I'm showcasing them is always because I want to inspire those that are just getting involved in spec ads and marketing for the first time, that don't come from the advertising industry. So you maybe don't know what's being done there, or you don't have a good basis or standard of what to expect. This is a real ad, and I thought, oh my god, this is brilliant. Like, honestly, the two people that it's between, Netflix and Morgan Freeman, are kind of like a match made in heaven, kind of like a David Attenborough and BBC type thing, you know, like, and it is actually about dinosaurs. So it's a kind of like a spoofy kind of David Attenborough thing, but in a Morgan Freeman kind of way. Anyway, let's watch it.
The best hunters are the patient ones. Boom. How do you say that? Aramborginian Plananda. Majestic creatures. Giants. Cat dog. Now what are those? Uteranus? Let's say Uteranus. Anus sounds like a strange names they give them. I'm Morgan Freeman. No, sorry. Let me do it again. I'm Morgan Freeman, and I'm back.
Oh. Yeah, sorry, Paul and me are just trying to add each other back to stage, because that was one I forgot it was vertical and then it wouldn't take over the screen. So yeah, kind of a funny one there. But yeah, how funny is that, right? Like, it's just it's one of those ones where you're like, whoever got that script, whoever agreed these budgets, it was very well done, and it was just hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good advert. So it's officially a Netflix, that ad.
Yes, it's a real Netflix ad for a real Netflix show with the real Morgan Freeman. You know, not an AI voice of Morgan Freeman. Although, you know, to be known if the dinosaurs was CGI and AI. Obviously, we've just seen Netflix acquiring Ben Affleck's AI company, but it is known that they're using AI pipelines for their CGI and stuff for shows and stuff already. So who knows if this dinosaurs show itself has any AI involved in it for the visuals that we're seeing. But as far as I know, you know, none of this was, it was just a great example of, that's a great script with great visuals that could inspire an AI spec ad. And all of this, you know, could have been done by Simon Mayer, essentially. You know? And they're the times we live in, boy. So kind of crazy, huh?
Easily being created. Not even just anyone in here could have probably created something like that. That's a pretty straightforward thing to create. It looked
exactly like the premise itself was brilliant. You know, mispronouncing the names, having some swearing, having some sort of but Morgan Freeman saying it because of, you know, his legendary roles and stuff. Yeah, it's just is a perfect match.
Yeah, very very good.
Perfect
very
match.
Well played there.
Yes. Now, that was a real ad. We're going to get into some AI ads now. This first one is by Giovanni Abitante. So sorry if I butchered that name. This one is an AI sports advertising film that I basically saw and thought it would be a nice little showcase as the first one of the day. We're going to be watching a bit of both. You know, Bionic, which is a Roundup coming up later, they're kind of months old now. You have to have made them months ago, so that it's not using the latest tech and it's more about the storytelling. But up front, we're going to showcase some of the more recent things. I believe this and the next one were made with SeaDance 2.0, which is in still very limited rollout release. But look at this, mate.
Great
still
concept.
by no means perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Like a lot of the physics is still not quite there, but the transitions were beautiful, weren't they?
I watched that and I thought, give it a year. Great idea, great concept. Give it a year, because it still looked a bit like, if you're looking here, it looked a bit funny the way it's running. Still, I like the way he dropped the football. Yeah, obviously the football looks a bit funny still as well. And then there was a bit at the end. I like this one. This was the best. I was like, wow, the ice skating looks really good, and I like that bit where he dropped in here. And then it is this next bit, that bit. It was just when he went from the water. He did
dunk the ball though, and the physics of the net was pretty good. But by far the best transition is the ice skate where suddenly it melts and they dive into the swimming pool.
That's great.
That's why I picked it really. As a premise, you know, like merging between sports, as you say, the first three like were some of the least convincing physically, you know, and so I'd have actually led with the ice skater and then the swimming pool dive being the visual hook that worked really, really well to keep people, and then gone into some of the harder physics ones like this. But the dunk looks great as well, actually. It was probably the football and the American football which was the least convincing, if you like. But the premise is great. The transitions were great. The edit was great. And it just shows what SeaDance can do. Like, no other model would come close to this. Yeah. Like, this is by far the closest.
Yeah.
Yes, wow. SeaDance 2.0. State of the art, obviously. Still has its issues, though. As you said, give it a year. It's still not exactly perfect, but it just shows how much closer we are now to making these sports type ads that look convincing. Like before, you'd never even have got that basketball close to that rim, and the net physics would have looked nothing like that. You know, like in fact, even in every model right now, if you went and did that, you still wouldn't get that. So, big jump.
I like that one. I'm writing that one down. Gonna have to
as well as Alex churns these pieces out, he goes for volume. That's interesting, right? Like, I'm thinking that lots of pieces like this, where spec ads are more quick to create and can get you regular social media content, they're going to be more and more useful to people, you know? Because long form storytelling does take ages. It takes months, MetaPuppet told us, you know? Making anything over a few minutes long without just a basic premise like that is a really much more in-depth thing. So if you are able to create those things, you know, regularly, then that may be your way out there.
That's your school learning.
Exactly. The next one we're going to watch is, again, another bit of a SeaDance 2.0 spec ad test. This one is by JS Films, spelt with a Z. JS Films Z0412 is the exact handle. This creator asks how much this would cost to make if AI wasn't involved.
I thought it was just another regular day. The sun hung low, shadows stretching across the streets. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. The wind picked up, dust swirling between buildings. A low rumble, distant at first, but growing. Glass trembled in its frames. Steel groaned under unseen pressure. And then, a wall of water, rising, unstoppable, stretching across the horizon, swallowing everything in its path. A wave was coming. Trojan. Protection from what may come.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah, good punchline
like
at the end.
Massive yeah, exactly. Like a bit of a twist, right? Like you're looking at this like cinematic movie still, where this camera's just panning through this just incredible action scene, and suddenly you realize it's a spec ad, you know, and not some big budget. Like as he said, you know, how much would this have cost without AI?
Yeah. It's true. It's a
kind of insane.
Really good concept, because that's when
I really like the voiceover too.
Yeah, the voiceover was good. And then when they said Trojan, I was like, condoms? And then he goes, obviously what he said at the end, I was like, that's quite smart the way you've done that. It reminded me of like a Marvel film as well. What was the film that I watched the other day? The Fantastic Four, where there was like Galactus was coming from the water into the New York. It kind of reminded me of all of this. But yeah, it's a good one.
Paul would know that exact reference. You know, he's big like you on these films, and I don't know the references visually for this, but I can just picture it. You know, like all of the big cinematic films have. If they have the budget for a shot like this, then they'll try to include it. Because it's epic. It's usually like, and everything's moving slow-mo, isn't it? Like that's the kind of style of it. It's like a massive sweeping shot, like with and in reality, you need these insane camera rigs or some really nifty, clever way of doing this. And this wave would have been CGI, and everything would have been added as layers, and suddenly. It's all AI generatable and can be a spec ad made by a single person.
I like that as what he said at the end. He goes, if you're a brand and you're interested, let us know. I thought that was quite nice as well. Like, like I said, this is the new way to get out to, if this is what you want to do, and this is what the focus of this show is going to be, is, you know, showcasing marketing and advertising examples, and hopefully we're going to be making them soon, you know, and showcasing our own examples as well. We want to be an active member of these spec ad community and setting briefs and doing all of that. But it's a great way to find clients if that's what you want to do. It's a really good way of showcasing your skills. Yeah. It was a lot of the conversation actually at Bionic, because each section we had short filmmaking, and then Pinewood Studios were talking about, you know, how big studios are planning to implement this. Then we had advertising, and then we had influencers, and then we had music videos. So each one of those has its direct route to market, and spec ads is the most monetizable, you know, like brands all over the world are going to want crazy ads. You know, now every brand can have it legitimately. Every brand with a half decent budget, let's say, can do this now. You know, like it's really truly opening up the gallery to so many more people to be involved. It's kind of nuts. This next one is just an Adidas shoe concept. I believe it's just a complete concept shoe. It's not a real shoe at all. It's just an 18-second video. And the note on this one is a lot of people on LinkedIn sort of hate on this, but people get annoyed with it. Quick and easy ads that anyone can make. But if you're using AI, the story could be really, really good. So let's check it out. So yeah, you can see, you know, it hasn't really got much story or anything going for it. It's just kind of a visual product shoot. But this type of thing, where a shoe that someone's obviously made as a concept for Adidas is being able to be showcased in a way that a studio photo shoot would have taken a lot of time to do before. Now, this is the exact type of agent Luma thing that you would ask for. You know, your Luma agent request might be, I want a product photo shoot of this concept shoe that I've designed. So get multiple angles of this shot, get multiple models, you know, white background, all of that, and then produce a storyboard of planned shots, and then you'd either let it go to the next phase without even, approving the storyboard if you trusted it, or if you wanted to manually review the storyboard and make any changes at that phase, then you go back into the agent there and do it a few tweaks and then let it continue, you know, and so you'd very quickly be able to produce something that a client would be able to have a visual buy-in to. That's the way I see these types of things. It's, before, you'd have to convince them of your idea in a call. You know, you'd have to say, this is my idea. And as non-creatives, they can't visualize it. So you being able to give it to an agent, the exact same words you'd say to your client and say, make a visual so that I can showcase this to my client or my prospect, that's so powerful.
in the prospecting phase. So if you guys are wondering where to use that type of thing or where agents come in handy, that's where I'm visualizing it as an agency owner, essentially in the referral for pitch stage.
And you mentioned was it Luna? No, not was it Luna? That they've got their agents.
Luma.
Sorry,
Luma AI.
Yeah. So is that available now globally, or is
to public?
To public. Okay, cool.
As of 2 days ago, it was given out now. So if you log in to Dream Machine, which it used to be called, Luma.DreamMachine, then it will essentially just pop up on the right-hand side like a little chat bar. Okay. And you can choose to interact with it or just use Luma the regular way you used to, dragging and dropping in your own things, or you can go and have an agent. So it's like a chatbot that's literally working with you in your flows. It's kind of crazy. But
That's
it's the future.
I was about to say, it's standard thing now. A chat box is appearing in almost everything. Everything you go to, you're going to have that. Yeah.
Photoshop will have one, everyone will have one.
Everyone will have one.
Instead of you having to, And if you want the more control and if you want to manually do things, so be it, you'll have that option too. It won't be an overriding, like you have to use the agent now, because it can go rogue and you'll want to manually do tweaks occasionally. So human in the loop always, it's just, instead of doing the tasks which you could set to an agent, like you're literally just going to prompt the exact same 9 things into Nano Banana Pro yourself. You're going to go, here's this image, show it from the back side. Here's this image, show it from the right side. Here's this image, show it from further back, You're going to do those things manually yourself. Whereas an agent can easily just go and start processing them on your behalf, and you can come back to them whilst you're doing other human ideation or whatever it is.
What I can see, though,
so it makes total sense,
is that we've got a period of time to do this before money and distribution takes over. Because I can see, just like almost going full circle, like if you wanted to put an ad on the television back in the day, who had the money and what broadcaster had the distribution? And I can see that almost going full circle again, because right now we can create something and put it out there and it can go viral, and then, but I think it's going to get to the point where it's going to be quite expensive to do some of this stuff. And not only is it going to be expensive, you're going to need to put probably ad budget behind promoting it. So now is the time to do all of this stuff. Like now's the time to get good at it. Now's the time to build your community, because I can't see why it won't go any other way, because there's going to be, the barriers to entry is just dropped, because a lot of people will be able to do it. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to be able to do good, but they'll be able to do at least decent, purely because of that's what AI is about. So yeah, I can see that being the case.
Well, taste matters more than ever. That's the thing that I'm learning. And ideation is more and more of the value. And over time, as Paul predicted in 2023, this is just going to become more and more the case. We were in this temporary phase, as you said, where someone like Rory, who was incredible at making nodes, was the only one that could possibly do what he does. But soon enough, agents will be able to fill in those gaps for us, and more people will be involved. And this golden era right now where not everything's completely flooded with incredible content, because it's going to be, but taste will matter more and more. Anyway, let's keep going. We've got more AI ads to show. Next one is by TexasOneStep.com, created by Dustin Cohen. Really nice contrast to the last ad. This one has a story. Let's watch it.
This tax bill is insane.
Huge time for the Texas One Step.
Texans move, scoot and boogie, twist and shake, but to drop that tax bill, one step's all it takes. Nice home, by the way, I'm so sorry to crash, but do the Texas One Step and save some cash. Grab the reins for 8 seconds and try not to fall. Go to TexasOneStep.com to lower your tax bill, y'all. My taxes got small, so I could get a hat this large. Put on well and charge. Focus on cutting your grass, cause Orwell's cutting tax, and that's a fact. Oh Lord, my bill right out of the gate. Now I'm chilling in a swimming pool, the shape of my state.
Go to TexasOneStep.com.
It's about as Texas as it gets, isn't it?
As it gets. And you can tell that person has watched a lot of ads, because that just felt like an ad. Like if I was in Texas right now and I switched on the TV and I saw that, I wouldn't be thinking this is AI. I'd just think, oh, this is an ad.
Do you know what? You've absolutely nailed it, mate, because my show notes for this from Paul are, we're actually running this across TV. So it is being run on American TV alongside streaming and other spots to learn exactly how real audiences respond with this. But yeah, essentially they didn't want to use AI for AI's sake. It was more a chance to just experiment with the ways that you can tell brand stories with a bit more personality and a bit bolder and more fun. It's a perfect brand client to do this for, you know, Big Texas, One Step or whatever it is, you know, it's exactly the tone that you'd expect in like a local TV Texas type crazy thing with a huge budget, over the top grills, over the top, you know, everything is over the top. Everything's bigger in Texas, as they say, or whatever that expression is, you know. So it's perfectly on point with that type of thing. So the vibes are right. It just makes total sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. It's a good ad as well.
It might have been, was that PJ Ace behind that one? Someone's saying in the comments.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Yeah, I saw his
I think
name.
PJ may have been involved in that one. Yeah. So it may have been bigger than just PJ, but he may have been the sort of like AI guidance, and it makes total sense because it feels like a lot of his ads, you know, very fun, very. I think he did that Kelshi ad or something, Kelshi ad, didn't he? Which is like a polymarket type thing, and you know, it's just about just being as big and as bold as possible. And he ran it during the like NBA finals and stuff, and that was legit on TV as well.
Yeah, wow, yeah. Because at the end it said created by AI. It said that at the bottom, but it said created by AI, which I wonder if you're going to see more.
I think, you know what? That's a legal requirement in New York as of today. I read this morning. You have to legally say that now your thing was created with AI. Otherwise, you could face fines. And this may be a future thing. You're right.
Is it? All right. So let's say, for example, I used hybrid. Do I have to state AI then? And
no, I think in New York's case, it was specifically when you're using human beings in the case of not human beings. Okay. So it was protection over the likeness of real actors and films and actresses and TV spots. So in their case, it would be, this was not human, you know, it would have in a little like thing. But then, mate, when you go to America, have you ever seen their infomercials? Like,
that's
whenever they show a
American.
pill or something, it's like, bro, they say it so quickly, and it's like, you know, may cause heart disease, you know, failure of the brain, like internal bleeding, all of this stuff, like as I said, at such a rapid pace, because at one point or another they've received a lawsuit where someone has suffered that, and now they legally have to include it in the copywriting of their infomercial. It's mental.
It'd be interested to know, like, going back to what you said, it's all right, we're going to use, if we use a person, it's fine. If we use an AI as a person, you have to state it's AI. What if you get a real person, but do so much AI, that real person is now an alien that's flying into space, but it was a real person.
If it was a real person, like, here's the thing though, when you use a hybrid production and you record real footage of a real person, as soon as they're flying into space or whatever, that's obviously AI them. You know, like as in their avatar is now an AI video, and then you might need to declare it from there. But let's say that always the hybrid production was the camera was focused on the woman and it was a true actress, and let's say everything else was AI VFX, the background, everything, every other character, you know, then do you declare it? You know, if it's a dog character and it doesn't look like a human... Yeah, it is a great... Because right now, I believe it's just protection over human likenesses. And so, you're right. It's a completely grey area. Let's keep going, though, because this is why I love this new way to do the show, by the way. Spec ads are so thick and fast, and we can discuss them straight away. Like, short films, although I love them, they go on, you know, and then you lose track of what you're going to say about the first section because we're 6 minutes into a thing. So I love that these are sort of rapid fire, and we can get a quick opinion out, and... Yeah. As such, the next one then. This one, again, is a SeaDance thing. It seems to be the ad choice, you know, because of its multi-shot capabilities and stuff like this. Like, it's going to be the Spec Ad tool of choice. This one is created by Luigio Russo. Nano Banana 2 is clearly better than Nano Banana Pro, but still not accurate enough to fully trust for product work. So to solve that, I developed Frameshift, which is an internal tool that lets us allows our team to generate product correct images directly with the AI without spending hours retouching or relying on CGI overlays. Let's watch it. Wow, you can really see how the upscale at the end made a big difference to that piece, didn't it? And I love seeing a little behind the scenes as well for you guys
I like
submitting
that.
stuff. We've got a new link to send you guys, actually, Andrew, don't we? We have a new submission link. So when you guys are submitting via that link, which we'll put in the chat in a little bit, if you want to include a little behind the scenes of how you made it, like exactly like was in this video, that would be very much appreciated, because we are the hardcore users that always love seeing behind the scenes. So clean, as Eric said. I was particularly impressed that they'd obviously made something. No worries for being late, Mary. You're not late. You don't worry about it. Yeah, it's kind of cool, isn't it? It just had a driving beat, not much story to it, but it was all about the clean visuals, and they were remarkably clean.
I looked at that and I thought that would be something I could see on TV. I'll just think it's an Audi ad on TV, which then goes into what we were talking about before, where would they have to declare that as AI, but they wouldn't declare it as VFX.
Right.
And someone mentioned that Chuck Arnold said that in Marvel movies, it's not real people, it's all CGI. So does CG or have to be disclosed as well? It's not going to work. Yeah.
We're in a weird grey area, as you said, like, as this gets better and better. Like, before you'd have been, and you can see here, like, you would be able to spot this with the dodgy stuff, but they're cleaning it up, you know? They're getting rid of the double logos, they're getting rid of a lot of the weird artifacts in their custom model that they've done. So this is cleaning up a lot of the issues which make you obviously spot it's AI. So to an average consumer, you might just assume, oh, this is a crazy Red Bull stunt. That's what I thought when I first saw it, you know. Oh, some snowboarders legit trying to skate down a thing with a car in a racetrack site with a helicopter behind. Like, this is a Mission Impossible type Red Bull stunt, isn't it? Like, you know? But but the generative upscale there, you can see, makes so much difference.
Did it say what they were using? Because I couldn't see.
No. No, but we can guess based on the ones that we know to be the best are basically Topaz upscaler and Magnific's new upscaler as well. These are the best video model upscalers currently. But yeah, it's kind of remarkable how that same video, if we'd watched it 6 months ago, would have looked laughable. Like legit laughable. And now we're all saying, why do we have to declare this as AI? Because it's, you know, it looks so real. It's going to fool people, essentially, that this isn't AI, or, you know, every country is going to have their own declaration of, yes, you need to say this is AI. Even my question was, because there's no actors talking, you know, that snowboard guy never takes his helmet off, the whole thing, like, does that need to be declared, or is it like a human actor talking, you know, with a script that's going to convince you of something that then needs to be declared? Or is it just any human that's shown on any video? It's a weird grey area, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Really interesting.
But this bit, the final assets and all, you know, if you guys want to show this, frame shift is clearly a tool he's made for himself to solve his production pipeline. Obviously, we don't expect you to build stuff and watch stuff like this, but whatever you guys do use as your like cleanup process, if you are able to edit it into your video that you submit to us, be great. And surprise, surprise, SeaDance was used there for the like physics of the like snowboarding and stuff like that. And again, nothing would touch that right now. Like, it's not surprising that SeaDance is suddenly solving all of these things that we had massive issue with in the past, you know? But we're going to get off of SeaDance for a little bit, because the unsung hero, which is often not talked about because SeaDance overshadowed it within 1 week, is Kling 3.0. It came out with a brand new model and basically was just rained on from above by SeaDance, their other Chinese competitor, you know, ironically, with a week later shocking the market that suddenly SeaDance was the new thing. But this next one, let's watch it. I think it's a Kling 3.0 ad. I've got no other details about it. It might be made by the Kling team themselves. Let's check it out.
Bro, listen, all right? I got a crazy idea for a movie. So there is this guy, his name is Frank. He loves his cat. But then one day, the cat is gone. Lisa! He searched everywhere. Lisa! Where are you? He goes to the police, but they don't do anything.
What do you mean by you can't help me?
Well, it's just a cat.
Just a cat?
He needs to think bigger.
I need to find my cat.
But where do you want to go, sir?
Everywhere.
He buys a plane ticket and flies around the whole world. He will find her. He's gonna find her. Someone must have taken her.
Have you seen this cat? No, I'm sorry, bro.
He fights criminals, he fights giant sandworms. He fights a T-Rex. But nothing worked.
I ask you one last time, where is Lisa?
Lisa! Where are you? And then, just when you think he's never gonna find his cat, it turns out she's gone forever. He's never getting her back. The end. That movie is trash, bro. You think you could do better? Go ahead. Kling 3.0 just dropped for everyone.
I will find you, Lisa.
Yeah, so kind of a spoofy Breaking Bad inspired. That was definitely a Walter White inspired character, wasn't it?
That was great.
I think Paul's telling me it was made by Kling for Kling. You know, essentially it's like their own in-house creatives advertising that the tool's now available for the wider world to use because it was still being rolled out fully.
I really like that. I thought that was great. I thought the storytelling, I thought the music was good. Towards the end, I think they added probably an extra 10 seconds that's not really needed. But I thought the music was good, the special effects and the sound was really good. I liked the way the guy was telling the story, playing a video game, and then his mate just looking at him after a while like, where's this going? and then at the end thinking, well,
that scene there where he's like arse is coming out of his dressing gown was hilarious. And then this Jason Bateman type character, you know, that he's fighting on top of a train was hilarious as well. It touched many good references, didn't it? I think that was what was so. This was obviously a Jurassic Park spoof as well, and they're not ripping off IP, but they're doing it homage. You know, they're doing the justified way instead of actually including Walter White or Jason Bateman as these people, which some of the Chinese models, let's be honest, have just done that. They've straight up taken the likeness of Hollywood actors and stuff. Maybe not themselves, but directly UGC wise, where people post about it and go viral on X and LinkedIn and Instagram and stuff like that.
I really like that.
So this is classy. This is classy, isn't it? It's like congrats, Kling team. That was a brilliant showcase of your own tool. Practice what you preach. That's what we've always said.
Rob Baggett 4266 said Simon Mayer. Did he do that? That could be.
I'm not sure.
That could be. You know, that's.
Well, if that is, then I still hats off. You commissioned the right person to make the right film. You know, like this is the same as the Door Brothers or whatever doing your like showcase for stuff. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether it was in house by Kling or whether Kling commissioned that through Simon Mayer. Both of those were good decisions. Whoever made it, it was brilliant. And that's all that matters, isn't it? Right. But yeah, it'd be cool to know if Simon was actually the one behind that. I wouldn't be surprised at all because he is the guy when it comes to this. I was sad that I didn't meet him at Bionic. He was supposed to be coming. He was nominated and stuff. Last minute. No, he's the new dad, isn't he? As many of us are, and it's just really difficult for him to travel. He's just started a new company, and he's just got 100 other commitments. So yeah, I think it was tough for him to make it there. But the next section is a nice segue because we're going to be going through the Bionic stuff. You know, a bit of a roundup of the show. It was awesome. Now, as I said earlier, these are pieces that were made many, many months ago. In some cases, even more than half a year ago. And sometimes we've seen them on this show before. But I think that we've got such a new audience now that I think actually many people won't have seen them because they've been scattered throughout certain episodes. And my plan for the future, as I put out on Creative Eyes via a LinkedIn post, is everyone's welcome. You know, everyone that was a speaker there, everyone that was a finalist is there. If you want to come on, then we would love to do one of three things with you. We can either just have a straight up interview with you and ask you about your creative process and watch your showcase of your stuff, or if you're willing, we can go in a bit of a behind the scenes and show how you work, you know, actually in the behind the scenes section. Or we can just have you on as a co-host and you can judge other people's stuff and we don't need to talk about you at all. So any one of those is a possibility to come on our show in the future.
I like that.
Anyone that was at Bionic. And as Paul is putting on there, submit your work through to that specific URL and you could be on the future of the show as well. You don't need to be a Bionic Awards finalist or anything.
And if you've been watching for a while, you've noticed that we've done all three. We've had guests on, like the guy who put on the Bionic Awards. He came on it. We've had people break down their workflow, which was the Doors Brothers. And then even Rourke will just sometimes just randomly pop in and talk about what's going on as well. So it's something that just kind of nicely goes within that. So yeah, let us know if you are interested in any of those three.
We're also getting submitted exclusives for the show, which is something really cool. I've had a few people reach out saying, would you like to showcase this first on the show? Meta Puppet being one of them and others. And then I'm going to post it afterwards and stuff. So we can be a bit of a launch pad for certain people in some regards as well, which is really cool. But yeah, let's get through. We're going to get through 3 finalist ads. As I said, some of these are 6 months old, maybe even more. Like sometimes they might be a bit more new, but certainly none of these guys had Nano Banana. That was the thing that everyone took away from the event. I wish I had Nano Banana to sell some of the character consistency and all of that, you know. But it came out like weeks or months after I'd already made this piece and yada, yada, yada. But kind of hilarious that everyone was saying that same thing about Nano Banana Pro. But yeah, let's watch some.
Only you can make all this world seem right. Only you and you alone can thrill me like you do and fill my heart with love for only you. Only you can make all this change in me. You're my dream come true, my one and only
I remember watching that before. I like that.
I was
like
getting a bit of lag there.
Yeah,
I'm
slight bit of lag
sorry
at the
if
beginning.
anyone was. All right, yeah. I'm back in now. Yeah, great spec ad though, isn't it?
I remember watching that one before. I like that. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this one. Yeah. I like this.
Yeah, I just love the premise. I said at the show, it's such a if I was saying to Zed, who I was sitting next to in the theater, I said, imagine you had a great idea, like let's let animals get old. Well, the ideal client for something like that would be a clever twist, like a vegan restaurant or someone that supported the animals getting old. Because the premise itself is just a great video, but you want to align it with a client and a brief that you want this idea to sell to the right client, basically. And this was, I think that's what's so good about spec ads is you don't need to actually find the client. You can just make it work for a brand. This idea is great, but making it work for an actual brand like the world's oldest vegan restaurant is the genius part. It really aligns it with a true message and makes it actually commercially viable and stuff like that. And I love the sort of just overall visuals of the fun animals having fun, doing Pilates, yoga, swimming, and all of that. It's genuinely fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like all of those stuff. The only thing is that the bit where they had that foam thing where they goes down under the water, that's almost impossible to get them to go down underneath. So that's how you could tell that if there was anything, obviously the AI is with the human looking animals, but that is really impossible. but
think about that this is all prior to Nano Banana, maybe even Veo 3 itself. So whoever made this took the extra time that this is the 1 in 20 that we were talking about with Meta Puppet. This was back in, this might have even been Runway or something this was made with. So kind of incredible that they pulled this off at this time.
I wonder if, going back to what you were saying before about creating ads, I wonder if it's better to focus on an industry or to just do random ads. So for example, let's say for example I just focused on sports, that means sports brand would be like, all right, he's the sports guy to go to. And let's say if you focused on insurance and stuff or cars, the industry will know to go to you. Or is it best to do loads of different ones and hopefully someone will randomly see it thinking, all right, you've done this in sports, but can you do it for our food restaurant?
It depends what type of creative you are, doesn't it? Because I know both do successfully. Because Simon Mayer, when he makes a piece, or PJ, they're not looking to work in a particular market. It can be FMCG or insurance or ads or anything, right? It's just they want a brand that's bold enough to tell the type of funny stories that they tell. So that's their sort of catch-22 is it needs to be a client that's willing to push the needle. Because they don't want to make boring B2B stuff or what have you. But then other people, we used to work with an agency called WePlay, and they only represent sports clubs. And Luca, they do very well in that niche. Luca, exactly. You know him, right? So there's the niche down option where you can just be the best and known across that. But the problem with that option is if you ever want to be bigger than sports, you've kind of buried yourself there. All of your clients are in that niche, and if that niche suffers, like in COVID or something like that, when sports just stopped, then you haven't got as much protection. So there's two ways to look at it in every respect. But yeah, spec ads, what I would say is there are certainly brands that it makes sense for.
Yeah.
You know, and there's ways to get there's ones that get offended too that you can't really use the logo of, as we discovered. Like one of my biggest pieces was a WWF concept that I had to literally delete because they said, look, it's not an official thing and we have a very strict license over our logo, and you unfortunately can't actually have this in something that's a spec ad. So, you know, just be careful with
I wonder if, I was wondering if attitudes would change now, or if it will change eventually.
I think it's happening, yeah. I think more and more brands are embracing it.
Yeah. So I'd be interested.
I mean, it's overwhelming now. That's the thing, is they can't stop it all either, can they? There's thousands of WWF's AI spec ads being made probably every day by people that actually want to raise attention for a cause they care about. So there's no way to really stop it. It's like embrace it or, you know, ignore it. That's the only two options you've got at this point. And yeah, it's interesting you say that though.
Yeah, just thinking about that.
Yes, it's interesting thoughts, mate. Honestly,
let's see some ads. Let's see some.
Yes,
ads. Yeah.
Let's see some more. Let's go for the next one.
Let me get this straight. You're saying that we and everything around us are made by AI professionals on Fiverr?
Yep.
Well, if they're so professional, why did they make this coffee taste like soap?
I'd be careful with that skepticism, Gary.
Why? You think they'll use their godlike powers to get back at me? Huh. You know what? Bring it on. Oh.
You're leaving me? For him?
What do you mean you can't get out?
What are you doing? Don't you know your own son?
Does anyone smell anything? I think there's been some kind of mix-up. They're screaming your name from beyond the grave.
Well,
Still tastes like soap. This stuff's actually kind of nice once you get used to it.
Hilarious, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of...
Yes, that's right, Lady M. Sorry, we just had a comment left. She missed the intro. Yes, these are indeed the Bionic winners. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Yeah, so I think this is a brilliant idea because the limitations at the time of the video models used weren't really a problem, you know?
Yeah.
It didn't need to look the most realistic thing. I think the character, again, was clever because it was a Danny DeVito-like character, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But without actually looking directly like him, you know? It is kind of exactly like his type of thing that you'd see. If you are aware of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it kind of felt like an episode of that, but more surreal or something like that, you know?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Really, really smart use of the tech. I think this was probably VO3, like just when it came out.
Yeah. It looks like it because even the consistency was there, but you could tell that the people looked AI-ish. Where if you look at some of the videos now, like the people look like pretty much people. But it still had...
I'm sorry, I got it wrong. These aren't actually the winners. They're the finalists. I'm just being told by Paul. We selecting from... so they weren't, Lady M, actually the winners. Sorry about that.
If they were the finalists...
Some of the finalists, yeah.
Who were the winners? Because
I mean, mate, we... like I said, we watch so many of the winners on this show, but we're going to have them on. And hopefully we'll give them a dedicated episode where we can watch loads more of their stuff in a showreel type thing. So instead of like ruining it all now and, you know, just showing them all, although we are going to show a few more, we're going to probably have dedicated episodes for each one of those that want to join us, you know?
Yeah. Cool. Sounds good. Anyone? Any other ones?
Yes, let's keep going. And yeah, if you want to go and deal with your son, I'm so sorry. I can hear him,
you hear him in
screaming
the background.
I feel really bad.
Yeah,
I feel really bad.
It's all right.
If you need to go and deal with him, mate. Don't worry. The show can wait.
Play some more, and I'll just go quickly see if he's all right.
Every commute, you let strangers crush your space, mood, and presence. But what if you stopped playing nice? Here are 13 ways to annoy people and reclaim your space, freedom, and true self. 1. Stand on the left side or center of the escalator and soak in the polite outrage. 2. Slide into queues ninja style. 3. Treat the ticket machine like a tricky puzzle. 4. Keep that giant backpack on and swing freely. 5. Sneeze boldly and share openly. 6. Spray perfume generously. Own the carriage with your scent. 7. Skip showers. Let natural musk speak volumes. 8. Forget headphones. Music is meant to be shared. 9. Seats are valuable real estate. Claim seats. 10. Surf the carriage hands-free. Every jolt is an opportunity. 11. Groom yourself openly. Your commute is your salon. 12. Lock eyes with strangers. 13. Laugh loudly at everything. Random and sudden is best. Use these tips wisely, or skip the public altogether and start rolling solo.
Great little twist at the end there, and I love that it was all like, you know, and great excuse for an ad again that you wouldn't have necessarily seen coming or anything like that. Kind of brilliant, right? Ikenna is so good though, Andrew. He, you know,
Yeah.
we know his stuff. He's so good at this stuff. He's very nostalgic, very clever. Obviously, he's commuted a lot in London and experienced a lot of these issues himself personally, as have you, no doubt. Like,
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. I definitely resonated with this ad. I was like, okay, yep, I know exactly the pain these AI people are going through.
And the misdirection at the end, like Glenn says, I never saw the end coming either.
Yeah.
You know, like this bike company can get you away from all these issues of commuting and whatever, e-bikes or whatever it was. You know, like it doesn't really matter. Like the premise is, it's a great, very watchable, hilarious thing. I also think the format of, you know, top 10 or top 13 things that annoy people and stuff, and having a little like generation for each one, which was hilarious itself, is great. Even that dog covering its, you know, paw that's eyed there, it's kind of just like, it's cliche, kind of funny, like, and this person just surfing at the end with reading a book, you know, casually. Someone like shaving their eyebrows and doing their nails, and it's all that exact same stuff that we've all experienced on a commute at one point or another, isn't it? My one was always someone eating garlicky, really, really smelly food, so that you're like, that's the last thing I want to smell on my morning commute is like some stinky food.
Yeah, egg, like someone eating
Roland's Solo.
Yeah, egg sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
how can you eat that in front of people? Yeah,
tuna's the worst. Oh god, tuna.
So with
playing music out loud though, you know, all of them.
that's the thing that the kids do.
And that one won. That one definitely won.
That definitely won. That's good. Yeah. Is he commissioned for other things as well at the moment? Do you know?
That's why he was so tired at the event. He was essentially working with late night clients in LA time zones and stuff, you know, where so much of this is just being commissioned at scale now. Like, it seems that LA is all in, even though that's where Hollywood is. It's because it's where Silicon Valley is, and they all know that AI is going to be used for social media and TV ads, and they're, you know, trying to avoid these CGI big budget costs and stuff like this. And yeah, they can really do it now.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Hollywood is just moving up the coast to San Fran.
It's kind of wild, isn't it? And I'm hoping that more of the UK and Europe start to, the brands that have the budgets over here start to realize this. They are a bit older, though. That's the thing about us, is we kind of have like legacy companies. They're like sometimes generations older than America itself. So they move at a pace and they understand the tech and stuff. And then we've got companies like, I read the other day, there's, that strawberry brand with like a cross-hatched lid. It's like a red and white checkered lid. It's a French family that started in the post-war era, and they've never spent $1 in marketing, and they're very elusive, and no one really knows who owns this brand. But it's a $1 billion strawberry preserve here in Europe, and that's the type of brand where you're like, well, that's not really America, They're like big insurance companies that grew fast in 5 years or whatever, and VC backed and willing to adopt AI in their marketing for sure right away, because they're a modern company with, fast growth and all this. Yeah. So it's just a different kettle of fish, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of historical brands in the UK. Loads of them.
Right. So the next one we're going to watch is a Freepik one. It may have some lag issues, so let us know in the comments if you're seeing any of this. It is a big file that we're watching here, but this is basically Cavan the Kid. Remember I told you that he's being now done, Netflix has an original series? Well, Cavan the Kid has been commissioned by Freepik now, so that this series is a Freepik original series. So we're just going to watch a little clip of this, the Chronicles, and hopefully it doesn't lag too much, and if it does, we'll pull it off.
Don't you all see? We are not free men. The legendary Captain Hook is nothing more than a man built on lies and myth. His greatest claim is Neverland, which he couldn't even do on his own. We all know Varric killed Pan, not you. You twist history to your favor and wear the trappings of victory. What victories? You're no pirate. You're just a banner boy for the Mordanes.
Do you know what waters we're sailing through, Finn? Can you hear the faint singing against the tide? It's quite peaceful, yeah? Those are lies. Do you know what a mermaid does to a man? You assume the tales of the mermaid were a myth, just as you think of me. Now you'll see for yourself.
I'll take the sword. Please.
This is the man you wagered your lives on. Goodbye, Finn. So our remaining mates, their reward for courage.
This is crazy, huh?
Wow, that was really good. Like, I'm watching it as in like, oh, why did we stop it there? I want to know.
It's
what
a really long piece, mate. It's a 15-minute long piece. Is why we're not just going to watch the whole thing straight. Like, but worth going to watch in your free time if you haven't watched it. Some in the comments saying love this one. Clearly, you know, people are watching this. You know what it reminds me of is, you know, Neural Viz has his original world and series on YouTube, which is just gaining more and more momentum. He's kind of taken a break. I haven't seen a Neural Viz episode in a while. But this is an incredible original series that Freepik have obviously found valuable enough to say, we want this as an original for us. You know, like, this is something we want to own the rights to, and we'll fund the future making of this. And you continuing to make this series doesn't have to be a financial worry to you, because essentially Freepik will back him to make this. So in Dave's situation with Promise Studios, they've got kind of two avenues to distribution. They've got self-financing, or people that they've got backing from already, or they've got pitch it to a network. You know, an Amazon Prime, a Netflix Plus, or whatever it is. These guys now have the option to go direct to the AI platform, like Freepik, who are going to be buying original series and stuff. So this is opening up a whole new avenue for people. If you create something popular enough, like a world like this, and really long episodes, you may well get approached by a Freepik or someone like this to say, we want to continue funding this and have exclusive rights to distribute this. And very smart, if you ask me.
Yeah, that was great. That really was really, really good. It just looked good as well. Like, there was little things.
He's one
like,
of the best, isn't he?
Yeah. He said something to the guy that got thrown off the plank, and his face, the facial expressions just changed like when he was listening to him, and just little things like that. Or his cuts were always in the same place, and yeah, really, really good.
And the, like, you know, the trigger warning pause writing to me, you know, when the mermaid, where he's just like getting transformed, and it's, you know, a lot of the early criticism of Cavan the Kid was his sound design's great, but this doesn't make sense. You know, the physics is off, the cinematics doesn't feel real. Well, more and more, Kling and SeaDance are going to be answering those physics problems, and the naysayers that only had, you know, negative things to say about the physics issues are going to become less and less, and they're going to have to find other reasons to complain about this, because visually it now looks incredible, and the storytelling is good, and the sound design's good, and he's doing it all basically himself. You know, it's really rather remarkable how talented this guy is. But the sound design always stood out and always will stand out to me, because, you know, the stock standard VO3 sound effects, and even the SeaDance ones now, they're okay, but you can tell that this isn't that. You know, he's adding his own sounds, he's adding his own stuff, and so he's really marrying up a lot of the things to make it a very compelling visual 15-minute watch. It's very hard to watch 15 minutes of content, but he's making series so good that you can just watch it. So well done, Freepik.
And where will it sit? Where will it sit? On YouTube and social?
Good question. I don't know their distribution plan. If it might be that you get to see, because freepik.com is where obviously you use all of the tools and that.
Yeah.
But Higgsfield and other places, they have competition areas and video show reels and stuff. So whether Freepik plan to build in a watch studio, you know, into Freepik of Freepik originals, or whether they have a YouTube distribution plan, or I don't know is the actual answer. But it might be a mixture of everything.
Yeah, Freepik
really
is
amazing though.
Yeah, really good, and a lot of good feedback in the chat as well. Well done, Freepik. I think
He's a very talented guy.
Very talented, yeah.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was just him.
You know, stand out really.
Work. Do you think was it just him, or other people must have worked on it?
Probably if we'd let it get right to the end, we'd have seen some credits for other people involved, I imagine.
Yeah.
But in the early ones, because this is now like the 4th or 5th in this series, I believe it was just him, you know, so he might have got more and more people involved as it's become a bigger and bigger project. Don't know is the truth. But yeah, initially it was only him, which is... You know, he was still making 10, 15-minute pieces from the start, too. This guy never... He always aimed really big, and so we have to wait several months between each piece that we see from him. But it's every time it's a masterpiece, you know, and it's visually stunning and very good story, and he loves building these crazy worlds.
He does a good job. He does a good job of it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that played as well as it did, because as I said, that was a huge file that we weren't sure about the streaming quality and stuff in the gigabytes, you know, and we were trying to trim it, and somehow it was making it bigger, even though we were trying to trim it down and stuff. It was kind of hilarious. We watched them in a bit of a wacky order, by the way. Maybe we should have finished with that piece, because now we're going to go back and watch some more Bionic stuff as a bit of a roundup. But we've only got literally 10 minutes left in the show, so we're just going to watch 2 more Bionic Award pieces. Let me just dig out the credits for each one, because I have got some show notes today. Thank you, Paul. So you'll be very familiar with this one, because it is a Simon Mayer piece, and it was a finalist. Frankenstein, his lonely short film. Let's watch that.
People don't mean to be cruel. It's just when you look like me, people don't really see you. They see monster. I tried yoga once. I thought maybe it'd help me relax, center myself or whatever, but yeah, don't want to talk about it. I even tried one of those dating apps. Let's just say the algorithm wasn't built for someone like me. So most days I just stay home and listen to the world outside, and I think, man, that must be nice to just belong somewhere. But Halloween, that night's different. That's the one night I can walk around and no one screams. And I feel human. Yeah, I scare people, I get it. But you know what scares me? Being alone. Au bout du fil, la nuit défile, dans mon exil, un coin tranquille.
That's my favorite AI video, I think. Out of all of the videos, that's my favorite one.
Genius, isn't it? And the rollout timing for it being at the Halloween, and when you see Frankenstein, you kind of initially assume so many things about how he might be in an ad, but certainly not a loneliness ad. You know, it's such a brilliant twist to have the monster be the one complaining about it. Just so genius.
Yeah, and then someone says the voice has so much character. I think it's not just the voice. I just like even that French song as well. I just like the song.
I was about to say that, mate. I literally was like, this time I'm watching it, I'm hearing more of that French song, which that piano and that like just calmness and you know what it reminds me of is you sometimes see ads for like therapy and stuff, which have very calming music, and they always play in the key of C because it's apparently the least like provocative and stuff. You know, they only use major chords and not minor chords, and it's all very in tune with the psychology of it all. So to add that as the genius little like back music playing is so thoughtful, and so it works so well. It's so clever.
Yeah, that's my. I think that is my favorite one. But the one he put up, the one that was him earlier on, was up there as well. What was it again? What one was it?
Simon's just had so many good ones, mate. It's hard to know, honestly. He's had dozens now.
I mean, there was another video that played that I really liked. Was it the Texas One Step? Can't remember, but yeah, there was another one that I really liked. Gets me every time.
Gets me every time, says Danny. Yeah. It does kind of look like Bill Hader, if you know that comedian. Hilarious.
I'm gonna have to Google him. Bill Hader.
Oh man. Yeah, he's great impersonator.
Okay, him. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He does loads of skits, and he's hilarious. It's kind of hilarious that he was like a Bill Hader Frankenstein. I kind of saw that as well when I was looking at him. Right, this last one that we're going to finish on is actually one of the ones where, mate, I just hope we see more of this year with like really cool color palettes. And we've watched it several times. The Twin Earth, remember, with very striking color palettes. But this is what I'm so excited for with SeaDance, essentially, is that not only can it do this photorealistic stuff to a crazy level with the physics and the sports like we watched earlier with that Nike Spec ad and that, but it can actually stick to styles really good. You know, if your reference image is a highly stylized Midjourney image, it can actually create those worlds consistently and keep you in those worlds as well. This one is by Jacopo Zanetti, and the clips for this are 100% created with Kling, and the frames were created with Midjourney, and then the whole thing was upscaled with Topaz. Just for a bit of a backstory on this, let's watch it.
No one knew how it was possible, not even us scientists. All we knew was that it was identical to our world. That's why we named it the Twin Earth. At the time, I was working as a cross-planetary systems analyst. I'd spent years studying atmospheric irregularities, gravitational echoes, tiny anomalies everyone else ignored, and somehow I ended up being the one chosen. The unlucky man appointed by every nation on Earth to leave home and fly toward that blue world, hoping to find answers. When I stepped out of the rocket, I swear I had no words left in me. They were like us, exactly like us, a mirror. And yet, everything felt different. The air was softer, the faces calmer. They smiled, genuine smiles, effortless, warm. They welcomed me without fear. They showed me everything they could show me. Their homes, their music, their way of living. They were us, but happy. On that planet, life didn't just continue. It blossomed. It meant something. When I came back home, I didn't even take a breath before speaking to the world. I stood in front of cameras, microphones, governments, crowds, every face staring at me, hungry for an answer. And I told them everything I had seen. How special that place was. God, I hoped that even a fraction of what those people had shown me could inspire us too. But it didn't. Not even close. People began to reject the idea that someone, anyone, could be happier than us. They despised it. They feared it. And suddenly the whole world was united in hate.
Rather a fitting one in the current climate to close on. Honestly, the last one as a closer we had last week, you know, the females in AI was a great closer. And I believe this is a great closer this week as well, actually. Outstanding, right? Like truly the piece. I told you I love the style. I just love this aesthetic and this mid-journey feel to it. It feels so different to other things that we've watched, and I just love that they pulled it off, you know. I love that this works, and this was made several months ago, so SeaDance can now do the same justice, if not more justice, to this animation style. And I want to see more and more made like this in all areas: spec ads, music videos, and short films, whatever format they take, just stylized like this. So cool.
Yeah, it was a great style, but also it was a great story and a great message as well.
Yes, the chapters were so clever, weren't they? This like segmenting of the story and like stuff like this where the spaceship lands and all those like little details you might be put off, but they just worked, you know. It just worked. And the overall aesthetic was clearly very sort of like style. It almost felt like propaganda, you know, when you see this like bold propaganda posters and stuff like that. Like the whole thing felt like propagandist, you know, in this visual style. And the paradox, right, of like the one planet that's getting along great and the other planet that's
and another planet. But what connected them was hate, and that was the big message. Where it was like one is love and one is hate. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're on the one with hate.
Well, we've got multiple ways that we can go around these things, you know, and there's multiple ways to tackle things, and that's what it gets you thinking. Is I love stories that make you think about loads of different things, not just what you're seeing, you know. It's a parable for life in many ways. It's an analogy for loads of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, guys, we are a few minutes over now, and we're gonna have to have a bit more of a, you know, cut through deadline because everyone's got to go. Use the URL as seen here to submit your work for next week or future weeks of the show. We're hoping you like the new format of the spec ads work. We're going to still watch occasional stuff, especially when I'm judging the Bionic films. That was a film. Obviously, it was not a spec ad that we closed on, but it felt, you know, perfect for society right now. I love the visual style and just the overall brilliantly made piece. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. On the new day, we're going to be staying on this day. So wherever you are in the world, whatever time you're tuning in from, take a note. We're here in the UK 3 till 5 p.m. GMT. Instead of 4 till 6 it was on Thursday. We're now Tuesday at 3 till 5. We're going to keep going with this. I'll really appreciate it. Like, we got a new tuner in, just discovered you guys. Great chat. Thank you so much, Chuck.
Thanks,
we really
Chuck.
appreciate you tuning
Glad
in.
you enjoyed it.
Spread
Same
the word.
we'll
Now you know
Spread
about
the word.
us.
Same time, same place. We'll be here next week and every other week. And every week, I should say, not every other week. Every week we'll be here. As long as there's AI videos, then we'll be here.
I will be showing the anti-slop, you know, and it will be with a marketing and advertising lean on all of it. I really wanted to do that, you know, the news, it's like, yeah, that's cool that we've got this update, but how does it pertain to marketers and advertisers? You know, how can we use it for making better spec ads? That's why I've been harking on so much about SeaDance lately, mate, because it's the new spec ad choice.
Yeah.
It truly is. Like, so.
But it's still not available to everyone, is it?
It's not. It's weird. It's such an awkwardly horrible rollout, and it will be coming soon. And you know how many guardrails it comes with, we don't know. But that's been the reason for the delay. Is taking, you know, the Hollywood stuff seriously, and they want to make a usable tool in the West that doesn't just get instantly banned as soon as it's rolled out.
Gets hit with injunctions and lawsuits. But brilliant. All right then, guys. Well, thank you very much for listening. I hope everyone has a great week, and we look forward to catching up with you next week.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. See you later.
Bye.